Mount Everest is the highest mountain in the world. Well, we all know that. But what many don't know is that it's also packed with some pretty strange and fascinating secrets. From mysterious occurrences to unexpected facts, this colossal peak holds more than just snow and rock. Today, we're breaking down 15 of the most unusual things about Everest. Just say its name, and your mind likely races through daring expeditions and tragic tales. But beyond its towering height, Everest has a history full of quirks, intrigue, and surprising stories. So let's dive in and uncover what makes this mountain so much more than just the tallest on Earth. Let's kick things off with number 15, the cost to climb. Climbing Mount Everest isn't just a test of endurance, it's a serious financial commitment. Many climbers assume scaling the world's tallest peak won't break the bank, but think again. The cost of climbing Everest has skyrocketed, with the necessary permits and resources demanding a hefty price tag. Starting in 2025, the cost of a foreign climber's permit will jump from $11,000 to $115,000. This price hike is designed to curb overcrowding and enhance safety on the mountain. Despite the steep costs, Everest continues to draw adventurers from all over the world. In 2022, a record 658 climbers reached the summit, proving that the allure of Everest remains as strong as ever. The unpredictable weather only adds to the climb's complexity, pushing up the rates for rescues and increasing injury risks. Yet despite these challenges, climbers continue to flock to Everest, with the mountain generating millions in revenue for Nepal every season. Number 14. The world's highest weather station. In 2019, Mount Everest became the site of a groundbreaking scientific achievement, the installation of the world's highest weather station. Positioned on Everest's southeast ridge at a staggering 7,000 feet, this station is part of a larger mission by the National Geographic Society, Tribhuvan University, and the government of Nepal to study critical climate phenomena like the subtropical jet stream. The station is designed to withstand Everest's extreme conditions, including hurricane-force winds and bone-chilling cold. Despite months of rigorous testing, the team faced a setback when they discovered a crucial piece of tubing missing for the wind sensor, threatening the success of the mission. However, the expedition forged ahead, involving over 30 experts in fields like geology, biology, and climate science. One of their major achievements was drilling ancient ice cores from a glacier on the South Pole, cores that could provide invaluable data on the region's climate history, dating back thousands of years. Number 13. The strange case of Maurice Wilson. Maurice Wilson's attempt to conquer Everest is nothing short of legendary. In 1934, this British soldier and aviator set out on an unorthodox mission to reach the summit. With no mountaineering experience and minimal knowledge of aviation, Wilson's plan was audacious. He would fly to Everest, crash land near the mountain, and then climb to the top. After sustaining serious injuries during World War I, Wilson was driven by a personal sense of duty, inspired by the tragic 1924 Everest expedition. His journey was fraught with obstacles, including a plane crash and a series of setbacks, but his determination was unshakable. Despite lacking formal training, Wilson bought a DH-60 Moth plane, named it Everest, and embarked on a perilous journey, ultimately trekking across India with the help of Sherpas. Although his attempt failed, Wilson's story remains one of the most audacious and bizarre Everest expeditions ever attempted. Number 12. The traffic jams. Mount Everest has long been a beacon for adventurers, but nowadays, the dream of reaching the summit comes with a twist: traffic jams at the top of the world. In recent years, a growing number of climbers have turned the mountain's narrow paths into literal bottlenecks. During the prime climbing season in May, expeditions from all over the globe converge, aiming for that brief window of favorable weather. The summit ridge, in particular, has become a serious choke point, with climbers often waiting for hours to ascend or descend. A viral photo captured this chaos, showing hundreds of climbers crammed together, sparking debates about whether Everest is simply too crowded. But it's not just the lines causing delays. Many inexperienced climbers are making poor decisions, grinding entire groups to a halt. Combine that with technical errors, like using ascenders on flat terrain, and it's clear Everest is turning into one of the world's most dangerous waiting rooms. Number 11. Erik Weihenmayer, A Blind Triumph. Climbing Everest is a challenge for even the most experienced mountaineers, but Erik Weihenmayer faced a unique obstacle. He was blind. In 2001, Weihenmayer became the first blind person to reach the summit of Mount Everest, earning him widespread acclaim and a feature on the cover of Time magazine. His remarkable feat wasn't achieved without challenges. Initially, Sherpa guides were hesitant to join the expedition, unsure if someone who couldn't see could really succeed on such a dangerous climb. But Erik's resolve was unwavering. His story didn't end with Everest. In 2005, he co-founded the No Barriers, a non-profit organization dedicated to empowering individuals with disabilities. Through this organization, Weihenmayer encourages others to overcome obstacles, saying, "What's within you is stronger than what's in your way." His inspiring journey from blindness to the top of the world continues to serve as a powerful reminder of resilience. Number 10. Yoru Miora. Yoru Miora, a Japanese skier and mountaineer, is celebrated for his audacious feats in both sports. Born in 1932 in Aomori City, Japan, Miora's love for snow sports began early, influenced by his father, a competitive skier. His passion for speed skiing and alpine mountaineering was honed during his time at Hokkaido University, where he trained professionally. In 1964, Miura set a world record for speed skiing in Italy, reaching an astonishing 172.02 km/h. But it was his mountaineering feats that truly captured the world's attention. In 1970, he became the first person to ski down Mount Everest, using a parachute to slow his descent, covering 6,600 vertical feet from the South Pole. His daring feat was immortalized in the 1975 Academy Award-winning documentary, The Man Who Skied Down Everest. Miura continued to break records, including becoming the oldest person to summit Everest multiple times, setting his final record in 2013 at age 80. Number 9. Kamita Sherpa. Kamita Sherpa, a legendary Nepali mountaineer, has etched his name in the annals of Everest history. Born in Nepal to a family of climbers, with his father being one of the first professional guides on Everest, Kamita followed in his footsteps. Over 35 years of mountaineering, he became known for his incredible achievements on Everest. His most recent milestone came in 2023 when he completed his 26th successful ascent, surpassing his own record of 25. Kamita's journey began humbly at the age of 12, when he worked as a porter for Everest expeditions, carrying gear to base camp. His first successful summit came in 1994, and since then, he has climbed Everest nearly every year. Sherpa guides like Kamita are indispensable to climbers, offering not just technical expertise, but vital physical support. Kamita's relentless determination and intimate connection with Everest make him one of the mountain's most revered figures. Number 8. Reinhold Messner, the Everest icon. Climbing Mount Everest is no easy feat. It's an arduous, lung-busting challenge, and most climbers rely on supplemental oxygen to conquer the peak. But not Reinhold Messner. Born in 1944 in Italy, Messner rewrote mountaineering history by scaling Everest in 1978 without oxygen. While most would gasp for air at sea level, Messner was breathing the thin, death zone air, proving that Everest could be conquered on sheer willpower alone. But he didn't stop there. In 1980, he returned for a solo ascent from the north side, again without supplemental oxygen. 3 grueling days later, he stood at the summit alone, solidifying his legacy. Messner went on to become the first person to climb all 14 of the world's peaks over 26,150 feet, often blazing new trails. His achievements aren't just about reaching summits. They're about redefining mountaineering itself, turning the impossible into a challenge worth pursuing. Number 7. The changing height of Everest. Measuring Mount Everest is no simple task. The world's tallest mountain, sitting at the meeting point of two tectonic plates, has long baffled surveyors due to its ever-changing nature. Back in 1954, the Survey of India pegged Everest at 29,029 feet, but this figure was never set in stone. In recent years, China and Nepal, the mountain's two co-owners, fought over whether to include the snow cap in the official measurement. In 2020, their teams collaborated to finally settle the matter. The result? Everest's height was officially updated to 29,031.7 feet, a modest increase of just 3 feet. But even this figure may not stand for long, as the mountain is constantly shifting, inching upwards due to the ongoing movement of the tectonic plates. Despite fluctuating measurements, Everest's iconic status remains unchanged, a towering symbol of nature's power and mystery. Number 6. The Ghosts of Everest. Record-holding Sherpa. Pemba Dorje is famous for two reasons: his claimed record-speed ascent of Everest, reaching the summit in just 8 hours and 10 minutes on May 21, 2004, and an eerie experience he had 3 days later. While approaching the summit from the South Col, Dorje encountered a group of frozen bodies. As he paused at a mound of rocks, he felt a supernatural presence. In his own words, "I saw spirits in the form of black shadows, stretching their hands and begging for something to eat." He believed these were the spirits of mountaineers who had perished on Everest. Many Sherpas hold the belief that these restless spirits will not leave the mountain until the bodies of the deceased are properly buried. With so many lost in the death zone, it seems Everest will remain a haunted place for years to come. Number 5. Dead bodies on Everest. We all know that when someone dies, their body eventually decomposes. But for this to happen, certain conditions must be met. On Everest, the extreme cold prevents the bacteria and organisms responsible for decomposition from surviving. As a result, the bodies of climbers who perished on the mountain remain eerily intact, retaining their shape for decades. Over the years, Everest has tragically become a sort of grim junkyard, with the bodies of deceased mountaineers scattered across its slopes. Climbers frequently encounter these remains in various sections of the peak, reminders of the harsh, unforgiving environment. The death zone, above 8,000 meters, is particularly notorious for claiming lives, and as more climbers attempt the perilous ascent, the number of bodies continues to grow. Unfortunately, until the remains are properly recovered, these silent witnesses to Everest's dangers will remain frozen in time. Number 4. Base jumping from Everest. For some adventurers, climbing Everest just isn't enough. They crave an extra shot of adrenaline, and that's where base jumping comes in. Russian daredevil Valery Rozov pushed the limits of human courage in 2013, setting a record for the highest ever base jump at 23,688 feet. Base jumping from Everest is no easy feat. Thin air, freezing temperatures, and unpredictable conditions make it a deadly pursuit. Rozov's jump required not only precise skill, but also specialized gear to combat the mountain's bone-chilling cold. With his wingsuit, Rozov soared through the air, diving into the unknown. The freefall was intense, followed by a crucial transition into the glide phase. Navigating high-altitude winds and rapidly changing weather, Rozov covered nearly a mile of airtime before landing on the Rongbuk Glacier. His jump wasn't just a thrill-seeker's stunt. It was an exploration of human limits in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Number 3. It takes time to climb Everest. Climbing Mount Everest isn't something you do in a day, or even a week. It's a slow and steady marathon that typically takes around 10 weeks. Why does it take so long to reach the summit? The answer lies in careful preparation, acclimatization, and the mountain's brutal conditions. Climbers spend weeks at base camp and higher altitudes, gradually adjusting to the thin air and avoiding altitude sickness. The journey involves long stretches of waiting for favorable weather, physical recovery, and mental endurance. With treacherous terrain, freezing temperatures, and the constant threat of avalanches or storms, each step toward the summit is a battle against nature's forces. Everest's extreme conditions demand that climbers pace themselves carefully, respecting both the mountain's power and their own physical limitations. The journey isn't just about reaching the top. It's about surviving the harsh environment and returning safely. Number 2. Trash dump. Mount Everest, once a symbol of human perseverance, is now home to a less glamorous reality, a towering trash dump. Since Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay first summited in 1953, thousands have followed in their footsteps, leaving behind a trail of waste. The South Col, perched at 26,400 feet, has become a graveyard of old tents, gas canisters, oxygen bottles, and discarded food wrappers. Cleaning up this mess is no simple task. The extreme altitude, low oxygen, and harsh weather conditions make it a battle of its own. In a recent cleanup, a crew of Sherpas and soldiers managed to haul down 11 tons of garbage in a single season. But still, between 40 to 50 tons of refuse cling to Everest's icy slopes. With stricter regulations in place, climbers are now required to pack out their trash, and organizations like the Everest Biogas Project are turning waste into biogas, offering a glimmer of hope for the mountain's future. Despite these efforts, the legacy of litter remains an ongoing challenge. Number 1. The Yeti. Mount Everest is not only the world's tallest peak, but also the heart of one of the most captivating legends, the Yeti. Known as the abominable snowman, this mysterious ape-like creature has roamed the high-altitude regions of the Himalayas for centuries. Local myths and spiritual beliefs depict the Yeti as a powerful, glacier-dwelling being with supernatural abilities, revered in ancient Bon religion long before Buddhism. Western fascination with the Yeti began in the 19th century, when stories of a man-like creature capable of devouring humans began circulating among mountaineers. In 1951, famed British mountaineer Eric Shipton fueled the legend when he photographed a large human-like footprint in the snow, igniting global intrigue. While skeptics dismissed these tales as folklore, other sightings and footprints throughout the years have kept the legend alive. Whether real or myth, the Yeti remains an enduring symbol of the unknown, forever intertwined with the mystique of Everest. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.